Well, should we just jump right in? You ready to go?
Awesome.
All right, cool. Jared, you do it this time.
Everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bog Hunting Podcast. We are in another new location as we're waiting for the new sound temple to get done. So,
What would you call this location?
Jared's office.
We're in Jared's office right now. And what I like most about his office, can I move this?
No.
I'm going
Yeah,
move
go
it
ahead.
anyways. See how it says excellent and there's a bald eagle flying?
That's how I like it.
That's just so when people are watching this on YouTube, they can know that this podcast is committed to excellence.
To excellence.
Because our habits are what push us past the limits of mediocrity into the realm of distinction, is what it says. So Jared walks in to work every day, sees that. You just get fired up.
I wake up in the morning and I piss excellence.
Yeah, excellence.
Excellence.
Brandon, thank you for coming here. I've been actually excited to talk to you for a while, following you on Instagram. But I want to let you introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And start there.
I'm Brandon Purcell. I'm 33 years old. I'm from Hamilton, Montana. Big game hunter extraordinaire, man.
Hey, baby.
I've kind of dedicated like the last 12 years of my life to like big game hunting. It all kind of started on a sheep hunt. I don't know if you guys can see.
Oh yeah, you love
That
to
guy?
see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Archery sheep hunt and in a draw unit here in Montana, and it totally changed my trajectory in life, and I was hooked, man. You know.
So, I want to dive into that a little bit. How did that play out? How'd you get what goes into drawing and a tag like that in Montana for people who maybe don't? Lots of our listeners are whitetail guys.
luck.
I like that.
I think I had like I don't know if I had bonus points going into that. It's not once in a lifetime as per regulations, but it's like it'd be once in a lifetime if you ever got drawn. You know, the odds are
Right.
like it's less than 1% you draw that. And so I drew that in 2009 and, knew that I kind of was on, winning ticket and decided to go at it with a bow. And it was literally like, that was my first bow hunt. My first bow kill. Killed
Was it of anything?
I'd never hunted archery before that.
Bold move.
Wow.
You're just like, I got this 1% tag, screw rifle. I'm taking a bow, this weapon I've never used.
All in,
All
and
in.
it's like, I feel like I started at the pinnacle and I'm just like working my way.
Yeah, exactly. That's hard to top that.
For sure. But ever since then, I was hooked on mountain hunting and just being out there. And I was like 2 years later, I started guiding. And that really guiding makes you an extraordinarily good hunter. You're spending 90 to 120 days a year hunting.
Yeah.
So, it's like that's like a journeyman's course, your first year almost,
Yeah.
It's pretty, it was sweet and definitely like shaped who I am today,
Yeah, so
Awesome.
you decide to go all in. It's such an amazing experience. You decide the guide life is the life for me. And your first year, did you spend as 90 to 120 days actually in the field? Was it just dropped right in, or was it kind of you dipped your toe in at first?
So like my first year guiding, I guided in Colorado. I literally was on a Craigslist listing. It was like, need elk guides, and I was like, sweet, sounds great.
Yeah.
The pay was crap, but I was like, dude, I get my foot in the door. And
Yeah.
I guided for 2 seasons in Colorado, and it was sick. It was like, dude, you don't get much better than Southern Colorado private land hunting.
Yeah.
It's just like that is as good as it gets, so like when you're able to be on elk all the time, your learning curve is just so steep, you learn so much so quick, and it's great for your confidence because you're like, man, I can elk hunt now,
Yeah.
And I'd elk hunted since I was 13 years old.
Right.
Sure. I knew how to do it, but then that really honed the blade, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sharpened you out there a little bit.
Sure.
So you jumped in I've never been a guide. You've never been a guide.
No.
Most of our listeners have never been. like first year, is that like the year that you learn the most and kind of
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like a lot of hard lessons and stuff?
Oh yeah, and just like client management was huge, man. Like I got my ass kicked, like for sure. Like I had guys walking all over me because they knew, I'm like 23 years old.
Right.
It's like they're gonna be like, "What does this kid know?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're trying to like prove yourself not only to yourself but to like the outfit, the clients. And it's like when you perform, it feels great. And I feel like there's like that pressure with guiding to where it's like you're literally being paid to perform. Like
Yeah.
you better do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Much like a prostitute, paid to perform.
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've guided you around quite
Oh,
a bit.
please
You know?
get out of here.
Do we have?
I've guided you since I met you. I like to think of myself as your mentor.
Turkey camp, man.
Okay.
Turkey.
You know what? You actually did. You got me into turkey hunting. I had never turkey hunted prior to you.
Thank you.
No one I knew did.
Well, a trendsetter.
Well,
I'll label myself as a trendsetter.
did you learn a lot your first year guiding me?
So much. But
You hate to hear it. Yeah. So anyway, you learned client management is what you learned.
Yeah, client management, man.
Yeah. It's like
Customer
shut up,
service.
sit down. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And then like I mean, I don't know, I feel like I'm a good hunter, and I feel like I'm an okay guide.
Okay.
Like I self-proclaimed I'm allergic to bullshit.
Right.
And so like, with clients, sometimes it's like, the adage is treat them like a mushroom, you feed them shit and keep them in the dark.
I like that.
That works most of the time until you get clients that can like see through it and be like, dude, you're totally like, you're just lying out your ass right now, and I'm like, well, at a certain point you are, because you're first year guide and you're like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing, like
I need like a situation. Like explain how this played out. Like when you mushroomed a client.
Oh yeah, for sure. So like my first client still to this day was like the worst client I've ever had. Like
Okay.
Bar none. Just like super high needs, just expecting the world, and I think he figured out pretty quick that like I wasn't like super experienced, and he tested me for sure, just because like they figure out like you don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
And they like, they push the envelope. They're like, well, let me interject my opinion here,
Like as to which way to turn on a trail or how to approach or what.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's like then like he was afraid of the dark, and we got like turned around one night coming out of there. So like,
Did you hear that?
What's that?
Oh yeah, for sure. And yeah, like that client, he ended up going through like 3 different guides that year. He hunted Colorado with my outfitter, then he hunted New Mexico with my outfitter, and then he came back to Colorado with my outfitter, and he hunted with 3 different guides. And it was good to hear at the end of it that like he was a pain in the ass to everybody.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. But for me, it was like, dude, still to this day, worst client. I mean, you might as well get it over with.
Yeah, and there's like, there's a lot of lessons you learn, and it's like, you look at it the bright side, like you got that lesson out of the way real early, smooth sailing from there.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. So, like a high needs client is like a guy who gets cold, a guy who gets uncomfortable. What's the? Oh, please, please, I will challenge that, but for when you have some client in, like what makes a good client, what makes a bad client?
When expectations meet reality.
Okay.
When you have a high needs client, expectations are here, reality is here, trying to like come to terms in their mind that like, there's a middle ground.
Yeah.
Your best clients like kind of know what to expect. They're on the program. Your worst clients, like their expectations are so far beyond what you could provide that it's just like there's no way that you can make it fun.
Right.
Everybody wants like that 340 bull on their first trip out west, but the reality is like that's not what happens. It's like I've had a few clients take bulls like that, but generally not on their first trip. Sometimes, but it's like generally that's a couple trips deep, even not with me, but just like Western hunting in general. Cause it's like, dude, it's an ass kicker out there. It's not like, roses and sunshine. for sure,
That-
and like outfitters will sell you on this hunt, and then it's like you get there and it's like it's not always what happens.
Yeah.
That would be probably the hardest thing that I would have to go through if I was a guide, is actually making sure that my client is keeping up with me, they are
Exactly.
keeping up with me. Like, have you ever had clients where they're just like gassed after the first day, or they're like,
Oh yeah, and it's not.
Yeah.
Even, I've had clients that it's for the first 20 yards in the
Really?
opening, the first day of their hunt, that they're like, "Oh, I bit off more than I can chew," and you're just like, "What do you do with that?" I mean, there's some areas that like where I started out guiding in Montana that were so steep, it's like you're a minimum of 2,000 vertical every
Yeah.
day.
mm-hmm.
And there's no pussyfooting around that. We're not going to be like able to hunt if we don't do that 2,000. It's just like that's how it is. And and at the end of the day, I think it comes down to heart. Because
Sure.
the oldest client I've ever had, he was 72 years old, has killed the biggest bull that I guided. Like, and it was just one of those things like meant to be. His attitude was there, man. His physicality was not.
Right.
He was determined to make it up that mountain. You know what he did? And we killed a giant bull.
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
love that.
That's awesome.
For sure. And that's just like the story you love to hear, right? And like I've guided guys that were half his age, that are just like, dude, they give up, first day of their hunt or second day of their hunt, third day of their hunt, and they're just like, I'm gassed, man. I can't do this. Your money, man. I mean, whatever.
Right.
I couldn't handle that.
It seems like a lot of times people go out west to be guided, and they think of it as being like if you go to like a whitetail outfitter where you get driven out to your tripod stand, and you know what I'm saying? Like
I got
feel
a
like
story about that
They
once
do
you're
that.
done,
Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
So he might listen to this podcast. I don't know,
Just-
but I doubt
just
he's
call
going
him
to.
a fake name. Give him a fake
I
name.
can't. So I know of somebody who
We'll
went.
call him Jared. We'll call this guy Jared.
Sure. Jacob. We'll call him Jacob.
Okay.
So Jacob went on this guided elk hunt a few years ago with his buddy, right? And they're up. I forgot where they went. I think they went New Mexico. So it was actually a pretty sweet place. And I think on the third or fourth day, they got up onto this mountain range, and they had it was almost like a bench way up there. And they had a couple bulls coming in. And so they were setting up in this tree line, kind of looking down over this grass pasture that they thought the bulls were going to come up through.
Right.
And they start sitting down, and the guide goes, "All right, guys, we're gonna sit down here by this log. I'm gonna back up a little bit, and we're gonna call him."
Right.
And Jacob's friend, I shit you not, says, "Well, where am I gonna sit?" And the guide goes, "Well, you're gonna sit right here." And then he goes, "Well, where's my chair?"
Wait, I'm not sitting on the floor.
The dude asked for a chair. Like, they're 7 miles away from camp.
Yeah.
And he thought that the guide was going to bring him a foldable chair. So now he's all pissed off that he has to sit on the ground and hunt an elk off the ground. Have you had anything crazy, stupid like that happen where, like, I know you said they expect something, but, like, that's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like that same thing, like that expectations versus reality thing. I mean, you can't expect that. That's insane. Even from, I don't know what the outfitter told him, because maybe
they all laughed at him. The whole party just like, what the hell are you talking about, dude? Sit on the ground.
And some guys, like, honestly, and like are just kind of prima donnas, and
Jared, I know. Every time we go out, I
Well,
carry his chair out for him.
To put a cherry on the top, they actually did end up shooting a bull. Went onto private land, but it like just over the fence, hopped it, pulled the elk back. The guide actually got fired.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can't do it.
Yeah, that was just because that guy wanted his elk right then and there. It was crazy, but
yeah, there's that whole gray area is always like, you don't want to be in it,
No.
It's like, and it always happens.
That's that kind of thing.
yeah, you got to figure it does, but
Yeah. I don't know. It's just it's hard for me to understand that, only just because like you're going west, like the whole idea is like this adventure. So like to think that it's going to be comfortable and like it's a different kind of fun, and that's the whole idea of it. It's not Disneyland where you just pay and you're having You're just getting fun thrown at you.
Hey.
You're like kind of suffering for it. You're walking a far ways. You're sweating for, putting some sweat equity out there.
Oh, and you're putting a financial statement there. Like you're hiring someone to show you what to do.
Yeah.
Like if I were to go out west, I could probably go out there and do a DIY elk hunt. I wouldn't know what the crap I'm doing.
I've done it twice and I didn't know.
You
what I
know,
was.
like I'm sure I could.
I didn't come back with an elk.
I could read a book or watch some courses online or something. But if I really wanted to go there and get some knowledge, like we were talking about this earlier, like it kind of makes sense to hire a guide. You can learn from them the whole trip.
Yeah, I would just say nothing and follow exactly.
Yeah.
I would be a great client. I would never say anything.
Where are we going?
I'd follow you wherever you told me to go. I would do it. You say jump, I say how high.
How high?
For sure. And like that's a good attitude to have. But a lot of guys, like that go on guided hunts. I mean, you got to think like they're probably like the top dog at whatever industry, whatever they're doing. And so they're like
lots of ego.
Big wigs.
Well, I know like their ego is fucking solid.
Yeah.
And so there is a lot of that is like trying to like overcome people's egos and it's like, being like, dude, you don't really know anything, like it is what it is. And like, I think the huge misconception is people watch YouTube or TV and they see like, dude, all these famous people like doing these elk hunts. And what they don't understand is like most of those elk hunts, probably 80% of the ones that are filmed for TV are on private ranges.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And like, dude, there's nothing like, dude, those animals are free range. I've guided a lot of private land hunts, but like, dude, there's something to be said for like those animals not getting like pressured from your everyday DIY public land hunter, because like those elk are wild,
right?
For sure. Like they know the game. Not saying the private land elk hunts don't, but like
they're not so wary.
Yeah, well, I know. We agree completely with that.
I mean that's that's whitetail.
Yep.
By us, like it's just different. Pressure's different.
Like an Ohio whitetail hunt, and it's like, dude, that thing's on like a big chunk of private, and like they have that thing like patterned.
Yeah, exactly. Dialed in on it.
Yeah, and like that's what makes it hard about like elk hunting is people are expecting what they saw on the Crush or something with like campaigns, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna crush like a 380 bull, and you're like,
just keep hammering, man.
You
got to be out there.
If
you're not hammering the bull, you're not gonna get a bull. No, I get that. So you do a lot of elk. You do deer, I'm assuming, and you do bear too.
Yeah, I would say that like bear and elk are probably like my jam. We have some phenomenal spring bear hunting here in Montana.
Sweet.
Fall it can get a little tough, but like our spring season is like pretty awesome for sure, and we definitely like we put the hammer down. And like predator hunting is kind of like a weird line like socially, I guess, because like for hunters I feel like it's not a big deal, but like you think on the broader spectrum of things, and like dude, nothing gets like people's emotions going like the thought of like killing bears. I mean, it's just we're just being honest here. I'm not I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. We didn't get our grizzly hunt approved here because people in the middle and people that are against hunting didn't want it. And like we have to look at that as like what it is.
It's true.
Yep.
We're lucky to get to hunt wolves and bears here.
Yeah, that's a big deal. The wolf thing is not always a given, and neither is bears. I mean, we posted some stuff. We did a bear hunt this year, and like
with the Untamed,
for sure the most feedback you could call it. We got was anything bear related. We posted a video of me shooting a bear with a bow. Heard some things about that.
Very colorful words.
Yeah, and messages and things like that. But you know what though? I'm hooked on bear hunting after that. Like, I will be bear hunting every year. My wife has given me a 1 bear a year quota to meat because they love the meat.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, we just had like the bear meatballs to me are just phenomenal.
Top notch. They're
just
good,
some peppers,
man. Very
some
good.
onions. You just ball them up, throw them on the smoker, and forget about it. It's delicious. So I bet spring bear is like one of the things on my list. We don't have anything like that out east at all. It's all fall out here. So
for sure, yeah, and like as far as out west, I mean, you got Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming that have over-the-counter tags. Idaho in certain units, it's like as a non-resident, I think it cost you like $210
Yeah, it's
for a
sweet.
bear tag, and it's over the counter. And then in those units where it's a reduced price bear, you can get another tag, so you can potentially kill two,
Yep.
which is,
Jeez.
you know, Wyoming. I think it's a little bit more. Montana, I think you're probably looking more at like $500. There's a lot of bears though. I mean, it's spring season. That's the time to kill them, and
Yeah.
they're visible. They're out there.
You find those green patches up.
They're skinny though. I need some bear fat. You know what I mean? I need them nice,
Yeah,
plump.
That's true. We have I have a lot of bear fat in my freezer right now.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the age class too. Because like, dude, I killed a bear. I didn't personally kill it. I like took my buddy out to kill it last spring, and that thing had an inch of fat on it still, you know, from last fall, and it was like, dude, that bear was healthy.
That
you
was
know?
good. That was a thick bear with the
thick
two
bear.
C's, you know.
For sure. It was like, I think we've all killed like a one-handed bear, which is, you know, you can hold it up with one hand.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I was not
just-
far from that this year. Mine was probably, it was sub 200. Yours was like 10 pounds heavier.
Bigger.
Yeah, it was bigger.
Bigger.
You didn't get to keep your baculum though. Which, you know, I
Yeah.
never asked
Josh
you about
took
that.
one. That's fine.
Yeah,
That was. I was actually looking forward to that.
what would you do with it? Toothpicker?
Stir. I was gonna use a coffee stir.
Yeah. Gross.
I just can't get down with it, man.
No. You don't want a pecker in your coffee?
Pecker coffee, man.
I've like never saved them, you know. It's like, I don't know. You know, some people do, but
It's
Squirrels
not your
have
jam.
'em.
It's not his jam, man.
Raccoons have them. Deer do not.
Deer do not.
Yeah.
He tried.
Trust me, I dig around in there and I did not find what I was looking for.
You did not like it.
Get out of there. Stop messing.
No.
Yeah, that's so like, you know, when you're guiding bears, you're guiding elk, I would imagine your clientele are different. Like, do you find like people are more prepared for an elk hunt than a bear hunt, or are they both pretty similar?
it kind of depends. Like honestly, I feel like our bear hunts here are probably a little bit more like that equilibrium is probably a little bit more even of
Right.
expectation versus reality. And I feel like in a lot of cases, the reality exceeds expectations on our spring bear hunts.
How so?
Same way.
People
huh?
see more bears than they think they would see.
Nice.
You know, I had 1 week, it was probably like my best week guiding. I think we saw like 60 bears that week,
Wow.
you know,
Wow.
and that's 5.5 days, and we killed 2. Or I retract that. We should have killed 5. I should
Holy
have
cow.
personally guided 5, and I had 3 misses, you know,
Oh, you hate that.
in 5.5 days. And so like I had tagged out my clients in 2.5 days, and then I just picked up like, you know, 2-on-1s of like the extra guy, you know. And so in that case, yeah, your reality is like so far beyond expectation, because you
Love
think
that.
like, you know, you think like where you guys are at, you probably don't see very many bears. You know,
No,
like-
up north you will,
I've
but
seen
not.
one
Yeah, I've seen one.
in my life.
Yep.
Right.
In Michigan, yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But like there's huge bears out like east of the Mississippi. Like, dude, I mean, the
Up
records
north,
don't
UP.
deny- For
There's
sure.
last
Yeah.
year, 2 years ago, it was like 700-pound plus bear, right? In
Yeah.
the UP. Big bear.
Exactly, you know, but it's like here, I mean, you get like vantage points and you can see, you know,
Yeah.
like you sit there with a spotting scope and a good pair of binoculars, and it's like, man, there's nothing. It's hard not to see a black spot. on the
Exactly.
Mhm.
In the green,
You
yeah, or
know.
the white snow, yeah.
Black
For sure,
stands
'cause,
out.
like, yeah, and especially like where you hunt them in the spring is generally within like 1,000 feet of the snow line. So I
Yep.
mean, they're like when they pop out on that chartreuse like green. I mean, it is like very apparent where they're at.
Yeah.
You know. But those are fun hunts because like people don't know what to expect to come into it, and then they have a great time, and it's like, man, this is fun.
Yeah.
You know, the elk hunts, everybody wants that 340, 350 bull, and that's just like,
I feel like though part of that is because they have headgear. You know what I'm saying? Like people,
For sure.
like if elk
sure.
were just bigger or smaller, people would be like, I went out and got an elk, you know, and antlers weren't involved.
The
but
horn
there's-
porn is affecting.
There is,
them.
I would
Yeah.
think so, right? Like my expectations is I get a 6x6, you know, like lifetime bull because I spent
oh yeah,
all this money to go out, and for bear they're like, holy crap, I saw all these bears. I got a shot at one. I got to bring it home. I got, you know, that was for when we went hunting. I did not think
I
I
didn't
wanted
care
I
at
wanted
all.
an acceptable size where it wasn't too small, and I didn't care at all. I wanted the meat
Yep.
and the experience.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's great about bear hunting because, like, yeah, everybody wants that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which is a
You
sick
know,
bull, by the way. Yeah,
but yeah, it's huge. But it's like that's not the reality. I mean, that took me 20 years to kill
right.
that. I mean, like legit.
Yeah,
And you can't expect that. Like everybody wants that. Their first trip out, they've been watching, all the outdoors
yeah,
channel, like, and I mean, an elk on the ground in itself, even a raghorn is huge.
huge.
It's probably 4 times the size of a whitetail,
Yep.
easily. I mean, that's probably proportionately, that's probably about what you get out of the meat.
6 times
like
of the typical one that whitetail Jared shoots. Like about 6 or 7 times.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
Yeah, no.
6 times me.
No, I'm saying of the deers that you typically shoot, it's about 6 times.
Have you seen that buck on my wall right here?
Can you show it here? Let's see if we can show it.
You can't. Oh, maybe.
I just knocked something over.
Oh.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
That's a great deer.
That's a good
Yeah,
deer.
that's what
It's
I'm
what
saying.
Illinois, private land Illinois will do for you.
Now you just screwed up the whole thing.
Yep.
Video's all shot. That's what you get.
You need to make that thing pivot more.
Just make it follow me.
Yeah.
Like my drone.
No, that's cool. That's interesting. Expectations versus reality for bears and for elk. Is it like a more challenging hunt? Either one of those like differ that much? You're
think-
pretty much doing the same thing.
I mean, it's a give and a take because I think that elk hunting is probably a little more physically demanding,
Right.
but bear hunting in and of itself is more mentally demanding because you end up like sitting there. In
Yeah.
our days, once you approach June, which our season goes till June 15th, it goes from April 15th to June 15th.
Yep.
You get into late May and June, it's light for almost 18 hours a day.
Yep.
So I mean, just think about that because I mean, you think about like, dude, you're
It's a
going to
long
sit in
day.
the stand in November. I mean, you're looking at like 10 hours.
Yeah. And that feels long as long.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it. I don't think I could do it.
Yeah.
But like with bear hunting, dude, you got to get to a vantage point and sit there all day until
Yeah.
you see what you want to see, and that like drives guys insane.
Yeah.
I've literally seen like there's like, well, what are we doing? Where are we going? And we're like, dude, we are going to see more sitting here than we are like walking around. And I mean, the proof is in the numbers. I would literally go to the same spot every day.
Yeah.
And sit there and like glass, the spotter and the binos, and sit there and like grill burgers in the back of the truck.
Right.
And like sit there and glass all day, and other guys would be out there tromping around, like not seeing anything. And we'd be putting up like 9 to 15 bears a day.
Yeah.
And it's like dude, proof's in the pudding at that point. It's like the glassing works. It's just trying to like convince people that patience of like sitting there is worth it. Dude, that's tough.
Yeah,
sure.
and
I don't
I would
know.
be worse at that.
It's
I'm
tough.
fine with walking. Like, I can walk a long ways, and most of the time it's just like, because in my head I have it stuck. Like, the more I walk, the more I'm gonna kill. So I'm just gonna walk, and the more successful I'll be, so I'm just gonna walk. But for the thing that I get a hard time with from you, from whoever I'm hunting with, is like I just wander too much. Like, sit down and just stay.
Mm-hmm. That'd be hard for me too. Like
Yeah.
if I know I'm in an active pursuit type of hunt, like I just want to go and pursue it.
Yeah. just
Like when
keep
I'm
moving.
whitetail hunting, it is tough for me to be in a stand
Mhm.
sometimes. Like I'm just like I am stuck in this one spot.
Yeah.
That if it sucks here, I'm stuck here. I mean, I can get down, but it potentially could
It's the
screw
whole
up
thing.
could
to
screw
get
up the
down.
rest of my hunt. But in that
For
type of
sure.
situation, I'd be ready to go. It would be very hard. I would be probably one of those guys where I'm just like,
Here's the thing, though.
let's go. I'm ready to go.
Grilling bergs, though.
That
That
not
might
a bad
be
idea.
pretty
Maybe
sweet, you know?
Crack a few cold lattes.
That's
Yeah,
right.
exactly. Yeah. So it's like you spend because dude, honestly, with like our spring bear stuff, I've seen a couple like shooter bears before noon,
hmm
but most of the bears that you kill, you see after 5 to 6 o'clock.
Okay.
It's you're-
Afternoon, yep.
dude, it's light in Western Montana. What people don't realize is it's light after about like May 15th. It's light till after 10 o'clock.
Yep.
So you're saying
know.
I can sleep in, sit around,
Oh.
grill some burgers.
You don't have to get up at the crack of
Are you
butt.
taking any clients this spring? I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm-
you got any openings?
I want to really bad do a spring bear hunt.
You got one.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys want to come out, it's all good. It's fun. It is like one of those things where like guys can sleep in till like 9, and like get up, go out and glass.
That's
11
11 our time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Early in our season, like how our season kind of works, it opens up April 15th. So there's still a lot of snow out there, and
Yeah.
you're more likely to kill those bears between 11 and about 4 o'clock.
Yep.
Any other time. once you get past about May 15th, you really start running into like just the daylight, the sheer amount of daylight makes those bears super active in the evening and at night, but they're not really like after May 15th, man, I can probably count on one hand how many bears I've seen before noon.
Interesting.
Wow.
You know, it's just like, dude, they're like teenagers, man. They're super lazy. Like they don't want to like.
Yeah, you just sleep around all day, like hang out.
Sounds awesome.
Up all night.
I want to be a bear in May 15th.
I've seen you live that lifestyle. You should not go back to
I
that.
lived it.
I did. So are you is it mostly rifle or are you looking at like archery you guys too? You take out?
I've never guided an archery bear hunter.
Okay.
You know, it's tough. I've killed 4 with a bow personally, more than I've killed with a rifle. I've killed 2 with the rifle. Most guys would go rifle just because it's like, dude, you're coming out here. It could be, you know, what turns out to be a once in a lifetime trip. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But
yeah,
I'd much rather be able to like reach out and touch that thing at 400 yards than be like, dude, I got to close into 40.
What about a recurve
You know?
at 20?
It'd be awesome.
It would be awesome, right?
I was bear hunting last spring and got charged by a bear, and it charged into like 7 yards.
No thanks.
And I made like a terrible shot.
Really?
You know, like just panicked. You know, target panic. It had a huge like white patch on its chest. And as soon as my pin hit it, I shot, and like just the way the animal was standing, it basically like it hit it like this.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Right here, out right behind its shoulder, didn't catch anything, you know, and like
that's tough.
What are you gonna do?
What do you do?
I mean, in that situation, yeah, like that's about anything can happen, you know.
For sure, and you feel really lucky when it happens like that, because it's like, you know, and it happens, but it's like more than likely those bears move a lot, especially after about mid-May, once their metabolism like kicks in, they can eat everything, and they really start like going ham, and you're way better off with a rifle at that point, because it's like, dude, you get into 400 yards, you have an opportunity, like take it. Like it's really tough because of how much they move later in the season of trying to get in bow range. Early, they're trying to start their digestive system. They're gonna like not move.
Yeah, sneak in on them. Yeah,
for sure.
Is it better like? So you're playing thermals, you're playing wind in terms of you find them and then you try to get in range. But like for bears, like say the wind shifts and they're within a mile, are they going to smell you? Like what's that look like?
I mean, that depends on the bear. I mean, a lot of like where I'm hunting, it's pretty predictable, like wind pattern, like it's going to come out of the west.
Yeah, basically. Right. Yep.
That's what's going to happen. Like the wind's going to come out of the west. It's going to be down in the morning, and in the evening, midday, it's going to be up. But in a lot of these like slot canyons that you're hunting, you know, it's basically just going to be like in the middle of the day, it's going to be going up that side of the mountain. You know?
Right.
My program is pretty much you just get on a high point and you just sit there and you can until you can see, you know, 4 to 6 miles of the canyon, and you just sit there.
Yeah.
And then you kind of like, okay, you can play them until the evening, and where the thermals are like predictable.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because otherwise it's like, dude, you hit that like right in between where the thermals are like shooting up the hillside to when they flip, and that's like not a good time to be there.
Right.
You know, you want to avoid that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's interesting. Very different than, I mean, in some ways different than the type of hunting that we're used to, you know, out east. But at the same time, like same types of principles, like you're doing the same type of thing, just different place.
For sure.
So you got 2020. Was that a kind of a weird year for guiding, or was it fine for you guys?
I personally did not guide in 2020.
Okay.
All my trips got canceled in the spring, and I kind of like switched programs as far as like income.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, dude, is this really like sustainable?
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, trying to base your whole income off of tourism when it's like, you know,
obviously dead.
We saw what happened. I know a lot of like fishing guides and stuff really picked, because we had a ban on non-residents recreating basically until June 4th. So like my entire spring season was gone. But I'd already kind of lined up. Yeah, I'd already kind of lined up some other stuff. And so that ended up working out for me, which was great because I got way more time to personally hunt, which was awesome.
Yeah, it's
Bingo.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. In other sectors, I know people got super busy after they lifted it because people were like way anxious to get out here.
They were ready to get going.
Mm-hmm.
For
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, Michigan actually had, I think, a 80 or 90% increase in 92% increase in hunting numbers this past year.
Wow.
I think
Yeah.
new hunters or something like
Yeah.
that in the year, and like we've talked about it in the podcast before, but like we saw it.
Oh yeah.
We felt it when we were out there. Like lots of
Lots of
people
pressure,
not having any idea what they're doing and just walking around at the wrong time.
Yep.
So I mean, yeah, I'm glad that they're getting out, and I think that's what I'm supposed to say. Like, I'm
That's
supposed
what
to
the
be glad for
respectable
that,
thing is.
but at the same time, it was kind of a buzzkill.
For sure.
So, no, that's cool. So your 2021 look like it picks up for you.
Just kind of is going to continue with what I got going on. I got some good trips planned this year. I'm going to Prince of Wales in May.
Oh, cool.
To hunt black bear, which should be pretty sweet. And
Sweet.
then hopefully, as long as all the traveling and stuff stays like open,
Yeah.
going to Kyrgyzstan in November.
Oh wow.
Really?
Rex, that's
That
sweet.
should be pretty sweet. It was supposed to happen in 2020, but it just like we pretty much booked the hunt, and then it was like COVID.
See you later.
Later. But the outfitter that we were working with is pretty open to like just us changing dates. I mean, he reached out and was like, you can change it if you want to, and so it's like hopefully this stays open and we can go.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
that's sweet. That would be a fun hunt. That's a
Mhm.
physically demanding hunt.
Yeah, you're hunting like 16,000 feet.
You wouldn't make it.
I've been to 16,000 feet.
Yeah, on an airplane. I maybe.
No, Mount Fuji, dude.
You did, that's
I
right.
climbed Mount Fuji.
Bet
There
you
you
brag
go.
about it.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
It was tough on the way up. Like it's a whole hiking path. Like it's a very, like a cleansing that the Japanese do. Like some people will do it like
Your
once
chi?
a year.
Are they cleansing your chi?
No, but they'll
Your
do
woo?
it. They'll do it once a year.
Probably is woo.
Like, and these old Japanese dudes are just like blowing by me.
Yeah.
And it's a walking path, and every 1,000 feet they've got a little station you can stop at and rest. and-
What's at the station?
So you can actually buy like walking sticks down
Mm.
at the bottom, like at the base of the mountain, and at every station you can get like a stamped wood brand, like a wood burn in your walking
To
stick.
show how high you went?
Yeah. So each station is a different like burn stamp on it, which is kind of cool.
Did you get a stick?
I did, but I left it on Okinawa back at the base.
It's like in the ocean floating around. It's
gone.
driftwood right now.
But yeah, once you get to the top, it's just they got like a big shrine up there, and you can just sit and some people were meditating, and
European.
it was awesome, man.
In the corner.
It was very cool, very beautiful place.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So big year ahead. Big plans. I mean, those are pretty amazing things. Prince of Wales
Mhm.
Island. It's opposite directions. You're basically
For
covering
sure.
the.
Oh yeah, I'm doing like an ocean hunt and then like the highest of the high mountain hunt you can do. Which would be
Yeah. Cool.
pretty cool. I just hope everything works out. It's
Man, it's a crapshoot. Although today the Texas governor lifted all bans and you don't have to wear face masks. I think I saw now.
Interesting.
In Texas, which is pretty cool. Why don't you have your face? You're gonna get me COVID.
I've had it already.
We both have.
We've had it already.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's
we're
all
kind
right.
of
Yeah,
badass.
for sure. Alaska lifted the COVID-19 like testing a couple weeks ago. which is
Yeah,
pretty
it's sweet.
you
That's
know, and,
sweet.
Montana with this whole thing has been kind of weird because like we're so isolated anyway. I mean,
Right.
We didn't really even get like a wave of COVID until like into June,
Okay.
Wow.
and even into like November, it really wasn't like a big thing. I mean,
Yeah.
our county is like pretty rogue. Our law enforcement is like, we're not going to enforce any kind of.
I do appreciate that.
Just keep
It's
away,
getting
guys.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully
I don't
things turn
know.
around.
I mean, it is what it is. It's just such a weird political thing, and like this whole last year has just been so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt lucky to live where I live.
You were Michigan. We got shut down.
Hard.
Yeah.
The governor, our
We got
what do they call her? Half Whitmer.
Yeah.
Governor Whitmer.
Yeah.
Shut a lot of things down.
Yep.
We almost ruined turkey hunt season for
Yeah,
us.
we
but
went around it. See, they closed down any type of recreation on state public land. So you couldn't camp on there. You couldn't, do
Recreate. Oh, no, overnight. You could, because we did hunt on state land.
We could hunt on state land. You couldn't recreate. So
you could fish, too.
Yep. But the federal land that was, 10 miles away?
Not even.
That was open to everything. So we
just had to move our campsite.
We camped on federal land and went and hunted on the state land. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's just all about adapting and overcoming. Semper Gumby, as they say in the Marines. Always flexible.
Nice, I get it. Yeah, that's pretty good.
We're gonna be. Are you gonna be posting this stuff on social so people can follow along? How's that gonna go? Because we want to make sure we can follow along.
For sure. Yeah, it'll be on there. I think spring trip is probably like Stone Glacier's involved, so they're going to be kind of up there filming. My one buddy who I've been friends with a long time is now like I don't know what his title is exactly, but he
He's
works
there.
like the digital content.
A person of influence.
Gotcha.
I love the Stone Glacier packs.
Dude, it's awesome.
Yeah, I got the Kiowa I just got, and it is, and I got the frame. So.
For sure.
I feel like it's going to be a sweet. I mean, even whitetail, just a backpack, and then having the frame to haul stuff out if we go west. I feel like it's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
It's super lightweight, super super cool.
Oh yeah. Like I have the Evo 3300 pack, which is kind of the old. It's pretty similar to the old Solo that they had originally. And then I have the 5800 or 5900. Sorry.
The big one, or one of not the biggest, yeah,
and that pretty much covers me for the gamut of what I'm gonna do. Like the Evo. I mean, with the lid, I've been able to backpack like 3 to 5 days out of that.
Yeah,
and then you step up to the bigger pack, especially in the later season, and it's like it's awesome. You can carry all your gear, everything you need. And especially now that they're into clothing too, and they've got the whole outerwear line. It's sick.
Yeah, it looks really nice
for sure. Like. The M7 stuff they just came out with, it's like a laminated layer that's basically waterproof with a fleece backer, so it's like super warm. Dude, it's amazing. I got to use it last November and it was awesome.
The right clothes, the right pack, those two things alone make life very much more enjoyable.
Yep. So.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine trying to drag a deer out,
Right. We don't do it anymore. We used to drag it. I just feel like there's so many better ways to do it.
Oh yeah, dude. You drag a deer a couple times, like me and my dad, when I first started hunting, we drag everything, you know, and it's like, it took the first time we had to do that over a quarter mile. I was like, I'm not doing this again.
Yep. Nope, never again.
We started first by, we'd kill a deer out and we'd just carry it. Remember we'd quarter it and just carry the quarters out because as we developed, this was a long time ago, but I remember I shot one. We get all set up. You get all set up. I'm walking to my stand and I just have a doe coming right across. Yep. So I obviously shot it. And I remember I'm like, hey Jared, you're like, what? Why are you coming back here? I'm like, I just shot a deer. So we go cut it up. And I remember my forearms from basically farmer carrying, quarters of that deer out were just killing me after that. Raw dogging it? That's what we were doing out there. Yeah, raw dogging it out there.
Nice.
It built up some forearm strength, that's for sure. So, what? We're coming up on time here. And I just thank you for making the time. I know you're busy and telling us about guiding and what you do. But for people who want to follow along on your hunt, on all the other things you got going on, where can they find you?
Just Durango.boone on Instagram, and just my name. I probably post more stuff on Instagram. Just like
cool.
Facebook.
Durango.boone.
Got it.
Boone. Yep. Cool.
For sure.
Well, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, man.
Thanks. Hey guys, thanks for listening to another episode of the Boga Hunting Podcast.
If you like what you guys are hearing and you like what you see, smack this subscribe button right here. It's beautiful. Hit it. You can hear more. Until next time.